I would say that one of the great areas of learning for all of us at SUNY Empire in the last 2 years has been the fact that younger and younger students
Mhm,
post-pandemic are choosing online education for their undergraduate degrees. I think
mhm.
this took all of us or most of us by surprise in higher ed. I like to say that I'm old, and so I thought that all teenagers who had to be on Zoom in high school, that they would never choose online for their undergrad if they were privileged enough to be able to choose undergrad as their path. And as we know, we leave the majority of people behind with regard to whom we serve in higher education in this country. We only have 37% of our population, our adult population, has a bachelor's degree. So I really like to always invoke that this is a question of privilege when we talk about people choosing higher education.
Welcome to EdUp Accelerated Excellence, a podcast dedicated to the advancement of educational effectiveness and equity across both traditional and non-traditional learning experiences and contexts. I am your host for this episode, Jacob Easley II, PhD, PMP. Let's get into it. I have with us today another outstanding guest. She is an exceptional educational leader, an advocate for public education. She believes in the power of education to drive social mobility and is deeply committed to access, equity, and inclusion. Today with us, EdUp Accelerated Excellence Community is President Lisa Vollendorf of Empire State University. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And I know you've been on EdUp prior, not necessarily Accelerated Excellence. So this will be an opportunity to talk really about your work and your organization and your research and scholarship around educational effectiveness and equity. So can we start from the beginning, please? And can you describe the context of Empire State University as it is situated within the State University of New York system? So tell us, how is the university unique within the system?
Empire State University was formed in 1971 as Empire State College, and we were created in the 70s specifically to fill a need that it was believed at the time by people who very much were looking forward into the future. It was formed to serve people who would be and already were left behind by traditional four-year universities and who may not even have the same access to a two-year degree at a community college that other students may find. So we were correspondence or distance, if you look back in your memory, or for some who are younger, if you think back about the history books that you've read, that is indeed how people did distance education in the 70s and into the 80s. We had campuses, we had campus locations all over the state of New York, and we were created to help people have access to higher education when they already had families and working lives and caretaker responsibilities and personal responsibilities that would impede them potentially from going away to school. And I'm proud to say that more than 50 years later, Empire State University is New York State's first and only online public university. And we're proud to serve students across the entire state, the region, the nation, and around the world through high quality online instruction.
So I like that, because what you're describing for us is a matter of equity being baked into the conception of the organization.
Absolutely. I really tip my hat, as they say. If I wore a hat, I would tip it to the founders, to Ernest Boyer, who was the chancellor at the time, to Jim Hall, who was our founding president. These were people who were at the top of and at the center of a very large and very complex higher education system, which was SUNY. And still, they knew that something was missing. They knew that there would be people who could not have access to our 2-year and 4-year institutions around the state. And they wanted to provide a mechanism for access for all. So equity, access, and really a commitment to meeting students where they are truly is what lies at the foundation of SUNY Empire.
I like that. So I just want to clarify, you mentioned those who may not have had opportunities to attend 2-year and 4-year. Do you offer 2-year degrees as well as, I know you offer 4-year degrees?
Yes, Empire State University has the ability to grant associate degrees as well as bachelor degrees and master degrees. And we have one EDD program, so one doctoral program that is relatively recent. And we have a long and proud history of full transferability. So we take up to 93 credits toward a bachelor's degree, which is almost unheard of, I would say, in American higher education. And we take a large number of credits as well toward an associate degree. We're very proud of our prior learning assessment and credit for prior learning and life experience, which helps students accelerate toward their chosen degree, whether it's an associate or a bachelor's. And we really take the student's entire experience, both academic and work and professional experience, and look at the whole student and find a way to help them achieve the goal that they say they have. These are really the very special aspects of Empire State University that I am particularly proud of, because they help us walk the walk around access and inclusion in the ways that you're alluding to.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you joined Empire State as the 6th president in 2022. What attracted you, other than what you just mentioned, to the position? So we know about access, this innovative model. Was there anything else that you thought was attractive for you at that time in 2022?
When I initially learned of SUNY Empire, it was through the headhunters who had been hired to help build a strong candidate pool for the presidency. And I spent quite a lot of time researching the institution and learning about not just its past and not just the present up to that point, but really the potential. So I came from California to upstate New York specifically for the potential of Empire State University, for the potential of what we already do and the impact that we already have, but for the idea that we can take what we do and serve more learners across the country who really are striving for and hungry for an educational institution that will meet them where they are and help them accelerate toward the degree they never got, or accelerate as first-time students toward the degree that will get them where they want to go. I feel that the sky's the limit at SUNY Empire, and it was definitely worth the journey from my very comfortable home in wine country in Sonoma County, California, to upstate New York, which I'm not gonna lie, gets a little bit gray in the wintertime.
Well, I like this idea of really what you're talking about is optimism and potential. And you talk about coming from the West Coast. So you mentioned it being gray in upstate, and you're in Saratoga.
We're in Saratoga Springs. It's a beautiful place to live.
Just for our audience to know, when you mention upstate, because that can be a bit elusive for folks who live in downstate. I'm in New York City, so sometimes Yonkers is, well, Yonkers maybe not, but Westchester. So how did you adjust to moving, or you're living here on the East Coast, moving from the West Coast, and particularly New York? How have you adjusted so far?
I like to tell people that I'm studying abroad in New York State. So every day I have an opportunity to learn, both personally and professionally. There is a lot to learn in this state to be effective in public higher education. New York is a highly politicized environment. I think everybody knows. This is a state in which I cannot go one day of work without somebody around me mentioning the governor, which is not necessarily the case in other states. It certainly wasn't the case in California, where we have, they have 40 million people in the population, and Gavin Newsom is not necessarily a household name like our governor's name is here.
That's
And
true. She is a household name.
she's a household name, and I am very proud to be here in New York State in a time when we have a governor and we have a legislature that is very supportive of SUNY and supportive of higher education in general. So learning about how to be an effective leader has been a steep learning curve, but is one that I really have leaned into with joy and with eagerness. And similarly, I would say I have just loved the opportunity to learn about all of the various cultural zones, the beautiful offerings that the state has for cultural and environmental opportunities to get out and play. And I love my adopted state, and right now have a hard time thinking about leaving anytime soon. There's a lot of work to be done here.
Then we've done our job really well. Excellent. And I
Well
believe
done, New York. Well done. Yes.
and I think there are wine trails in your area. Probably not as expensive as in California, but you can find some wine trails around here in New York.
I think
Uh,
on that, I'm going to have to offer no comment. Thank you. I'm sure there are beautiful wine trails to be explored. I have yet to undertake that particular outing.
So, what has surprised you the most as you began to settle in your role and within the community? And how has that new insight shaped your presidency so far?
I would say that one of the great areas of learning for all of us at SUNY Empire in the last 2 years has been the fact that younger and younger students post-pandemic are choosing online education for their undergraduate degrees. I think this took all of us, or most of us, by surprise in higher ed. I like to say that I'm old, and so I thought that all teenagers who had to be on Zoom in high school, that they would never choose online for their undergrad if they were privileged enough to be able to choose undergrad as their path. And as we know, we leave the majority of people behind with regard to whom we serve in higher education in this country. We only have 37% of our population, our adult population, has a bachelor's degree. So I really like to always invoke that this is a question of privilege when we talk about people choosing higher education. And it is that privilege that I hope to continue to expand to more and more people from all walks of life. And so in part, it is thrilling for me and for us at Empire State University to now be serving this next generation of students who were not our traditional or historical student population, but who now have chosen us and are choosing high quality online as their pathway toward an undergraduate degree. I think that this is a wonderful surprise, and it's something that we all should be very mindful of and take very seriously, that it is our obligation to serve this generation with integrity at the same time that we're serving at Empire State University 4 generations of learners. So it's a surprise, it's a challenge, and it really is helping us be very intentional about how we approach our student supports for students, again, who come from very different places at very different times of their lives, but who are all seeking a very good quality, high quality educational experience from us.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of speaks to somewhat of a cosmic shift post-pandemic, because I would have never thought, at least for undergrad, that you would see, as you mentioned, this uptick in the number of individuals who want to complete their undergraduate degree fully online. So as an institution for online programming that expands across the state and beyond, serving a diverse population, and your traditional student population has been around the age 30s. So now you're saying there's a shift. But how would you describe the Empire distinction for online learning and meeting the needs of such a diverse population?
So to put this in perspective, we have commencement coming up this spring, and our youngest graduate in this class is 17 years old, and our oldest graduate is 77 years old.
Oh, wow.
So this is us. That's what I say. Drop the mic. That's what we do at Empire State University. We welcome all, and we
Mhm.
also work to serve all to the best of our ability. So some of the things we talk about that are points of pride include that our online instruction is designed to be online. Our curriculum is designed to be delivered online. And we teach science labs online, and we have been leaders in this space for quite a long time. And
Mhm.
we are always looking to improve. We have universal design for learning built into our master course shell, as should be the gold standard. And we also have continuous improvement built into our course design such that we have advisors and professional employees and faculty and other staff and instructional designers and accessibility services and whoever it may be looking year over year at the data that we can glean from the courses with regard to not just student behavior, but faculty behavior,
Mhm.
advising use of our courses, so that we can really see the ways in which we can improve, and we improve, and then we continue to measure and analyze and improve again. So those are some of the things we do within the curriculum per se, within our pedagogical lens. And then we also have, as in person or residential campuses have, online, we offer holistic student supports that really offer a 360 lens of
Okay.
support for our students. We have career services. We're building out internship programs as we speak. We have clubs and affinity groups and esports. If you care to learn more about esports, this is the place to do it.
Oh, yes, that may be another episode.
Maybe another episode. We have a new virtual food pantry that we rolled out after really listening to our students with regard to what would be helpful to them. So students have the ability, regardless of where they live, where they
Mhm.
reside, they have the ability to go into our portal to place their own order for the basic needs that they have. The
Mhm.
goods are shipped directly to them, and they have the opportunity to work with our basic needs coordinator about what services are available within their community that can help them meet longer term needs.
I really
These are
like.
just some of the things we do. We, of course, have tutoring, we have 24/7 counseling. We're leaning into learning about how AI can help us serve our students more effectively and more intensively. And we're always learning from our students how to support them better. And I just love that the way we do that is in this online environment that allows students to access the support they need when they have time to access it or when they have the need.
So, I mean, we're talking about a comprehensive system on both levels. One, in terms of the offerings, starting with the associate's degree, all the way through graduate level. But also, once a student engages in online instruction, they have sort of a comprehensive network of supports to help them, whether it is psychological, maybe there's food, as you mentioned, food scarcity, but also academic support. So that's really lovely, actually.
It is. And, I always tell people we have a lot to be proud of and we have a lot to improve upon. So we have the foundations in place
Mm-hmm.
for a 21st century online university of high quality. And we have the mentality and the ethos of always trying to do better in service to our students and in service to that model that is holistic, both with regard to pedagogy and academic experience and the whole person experience of being a student at SUNY Empire.
I can definitely appreciate that. So let's talk a bit about equity and effectiveness within the educational space. So more than 40 million individuals in the US have some college, but have stepped away or have left the university without a degree or without credentials. Why is this an issue from your perspective? And how has Empire State University, what has been Empire State University's response to these conditions?
Well, the first question is the most important question. Why is it an issue that we have? I think the current number, and again, it's now almost 2 years old, is 40.4 million
Yep.
people in the United States of
A little
America.
over 40 now. Yes, you're right.
Yes, sadly, and it goes up every year. These people have some college and no credential.
Mm-hmm.
These are people who feel that they failed out of college. These are people who likely, the supermajority, if not all, incurred some kind of debt
Hmm.
attempting to get a college credential, whether it's an associate degree or a bachelor's degree. To me, it's irrelevant, because what is relevant is we have a public perception challenge with regard to higher education in this country. And it is fueled by the debt crisis of the past 20 years. And it is also fueled by many, many people feeling that college was something they could not succeed at. And to that, I say, we have failed 40.4 million people. Those of us who are committed to higher education, and specifically to public education, we know that these are people we have an obligation to help come back and to help them dream their dream again, reignite their dream. I'm
Right,
going to
right.
say it that way, and achieve the dream, achieve the goal that they had set for themselves, whether it was 2 years ago or 5 or 10 or 20. And specifically, this is important because we know that education and educational attainment in this country is the number one marker of longevity. And it makes me sad that that's the case, because I would like to say that I live in a country in which living in the country meant that you had access to all of that your needs were met, that your medical care was met. And we could say that we have equity across the country, but we do not live in that country. We
Mm-hmm.
live in a culture in which the higher level of education you have, the longer you will live. You will be healthier and you will be wealthier. And these indisputable facts really drive me to think about how we can help not only current students or future students, but students who feel that they failed out, that we can help people achieve their dream of their college credential so they can, one, feel better about their own trajectories in their lives. Two, they can actually stop hitting the paper ceiling, which people hit across the country every single day, and actually get the promotion they want or the job they want or the salary that they deserve with the knowledge and skills that they have. And so we can help people know that there is in the public sector a public university that is designed to help them on their own terms and on their own schedule achieve their dream of a college degree.
And you mentioned earlier about credit transferability policies.
Yes.
How does that tie into um, reinvesting and reigniting and exciting and engaging the 40 million, 40 plus million now of folks who have not um, completed a degree or received credentials?
Transferability is really in crisis in our higher education systems across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And we have many, many institutions that are facing enrollment declines because of demographic changes nationwide. And the Northeast is certainly a leader in the so-called demographic cliff, in the drop off of K through 12 students, the drop off of birth rates, and therefore the drop off of college age, traditional college age eligible students to go to our many, many residential colleges and universities, again, nationwide, but specifically we see this in the Northeast as the most afflicted region.
Right.
And going forward, we will continue to see that. So we're talking about the need to, rather than put up barriers, to lower barriers and to open our arms to people, whether they're bringing transfer credits from one institution or two or three or four,
Mm-hmm.
and whether they're bringing credit for prior learning or credit for life experience. We bring these things all together and we invite students and prospective students at SUNY Empire to put all of these things on the table. So we don't just ask for all your transcripts. We also ask, did you do an apprenticeship? Did you do an apprenticeship with a union for whom we have already done credit for prior learning assessment? Are you in the military? if you're in the military, we give you what we call, in essence, a military transcript. We know that the learning you did in basic, let's say, is valuable in the academic realm for X number of credits that we give you towards your associate degree. So we, rather than saying to people, come to us and start over, we say, come to us and complete. SUNY Empire, in its very essence, is a completion institution. And whether that completion is from your 93 credits to your 120 or 124 to graduate, or if it's you're starting out fresh from high school, we take your AP credits, which many, many institutions do not do. If you did dual or concurrent enrollment when you were in high school with some college or university, we take those credits and we ask you, tell us what your dream is. We will help you achieve it.
So I'm sure you probably have guardrails. So you talked about access. And when I think about effectiveness, that's sort of the quality. So how do you manage access, but also ensuring overall quality of the academic enterprise?
This is often a question, isn't it, that we pose to ourselves in the academy. And I can't tell you how many meetings I have been in my now, I hesitate to say it, but almost 30-year career, in which there is lamentation about the so-called quality of the students.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think my approach and our belief here at SUNY Empire is that if you are motivated to find us, we are motivated to serve you. And the quality aspect of that, of course, is really designed to be part of our approach to pedagogy, our approach to our belief that every student can be successful. And I don't have to tell you or anybody listening that the research on this topic is profound and sound, that if we believe in our students can succeed.
I just had to slip that in because I know there are folks who, as you mentioned earlier, the number of credits you can transfer, there are limitations across institutions and they vary. So there are camps that believe that to take such an approach would undermine in some ways the quality of their institutional offerings. I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I just wanted to make sure that we address that for folks who might have a different opinion. So Empire is also the first IHE, or Institution of Higher Education, designated as an autism support college. You have created the Center for Autism Advocacy Research, Education, and Supports, or CARES, CAARES. How did this come to be, and what impact have you seen so far?
CARES and our autism supportive designation are really 2 points of distinction for all of us here at SUNY Empire. I am so proud. I want to lead with this. I'm so proud to work at a university where our faculty and our staff and our leadership, where all of us are in alignment with the very core of the mission to provide access to all. We really are very committed to academic and inclusive excellence, and we take very seriously the inclusive aspect of that turn of phrase that is often tossed about, but we walk that walk, I would say, on a daily basis. So as we learned more in the past decade in particular about the prevalence and the rise of autism diagnoses and of self-identification by high school students and college students and humans in the United States around neurodiversity, we saw an opportunity here at Empire to stand up not just a program in applied behavioral analysis, which is the academic program associated with our Autism Center with CARES, but also a fully conceptualized center that would include research and student support and academic offerings. And within this conceptualization of CARES, we have been able to partner with various entities throughout the state, with schools, with teachers, with the Anderson Center for Autism, not just to commit to and deploy training on an ongoing basis to everyone who works at Empire with regard to how to build a more inclusive autism and neurodiverse supportive institution, but also to be on the cutting edge of what the practices are around the state and the region and the nation with regard to serving a student population that is ever growing. And in fact, we did just over the weekend, we shared with our leadership team the recent profile of a college student today in 2024 in the United States. And it suggested that 2 of every 10 current college students identifies as having a disability. So where the research around autism diagnosis will only suggest that 2% of the population has an autism diagnosis, when you really start to look at neurodiversity and student self-identification, those numbers go up. And I will add, even though my answer is getting long, that one thing I love about how we approach this work is that we don't have to require like K through 12 does. So it's not to disparage what is done in the public schools before students get to us, because the credit goes to the public schools and all the schools for getting these students through now. We're now able to support these students through high school in ways that were never even on the table a generation ago. So right there, we have something to celebrate. But when students come to us at Empire, we don't require students to show a diagnosis or to prove something medical to us. We invite them to be part of a community that offers support to them, both through CARES, through our accessibility and disability services, through our student clubs. And we really welcome students to be part of the full university community in ways that are comfortable and supportive to them.
Well, that definitely is a sea change, not requiring a medical or a professional diagnosis. And you meant talking about that 40 plus million, a significant number of those who don't complete a degree or credentials happen to be individuals who are identified with disabilities. So
I'm sure there's real overlap in these populations. And to the extent that people know that there are universities in service to them, I hope to get that word out, because we would love to grow this segment of our student population. For the same reason, we're very proud to support veteran and military affiliated students. For the same reason that we're very proud to serve students around the globe. Empire really wants the challenge and welcomes the challenge of serving all students and of listening to students so that they can tell us what they want and need, so we can always be improving and be responsive.
I really like that. So these are 2 examples of how Empire is leading the way for educational equity, for sure. To sum up educational equity Empire, what else would you add, or what is the working premise for educational equity guiding your academic and operational management? Is there anything else about equity?
Well, I would say that we're proud to have a strategic plan that puts students first. So we identify our core values as being around flexibility and innovation and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we really hold those values dear as we move forward around our strategic pillars of student success, academic and inclusive excellence, organizational effectiveness, which should be anybody's third pillar, because without that, you can't really be as effective as you want to be in all these other realms. And we're very much committed to raising our public profile. And what I like to say to people is, as Empire grows, and we are growing, we've grown year over year in single digits, 3 to 4% over the last few years. And this year, we are up almost 10 percentage points in our enrollments over the prior year, 9.55%. My team tells me not to claim the double digits until we actually arrive. But I couldn't be prouder to work at a university that is on the rise, not at the expense of other schools, and not because we have invested $100 million in marketing, although I would love to see what that would yield, but because we are operating under the premise that as we grow in service to people who otherwise are left behind.
So I'm going to ask you, and I remember this from my dissertation defense, a doctoral defense. They wanted a dictionary definition. So, what constitutes educational effectiveness at Empire State University?
Educational effectiveness to us at SUNY Empire means serving our students with integrity, meeting them where they are, and supporting our faculty and staff to be successful in our access mission.
Oh, that's excellent. So, what continues to inspire you? Now, we've talked a lot. You've given us a lot of food for thought, but and what continues to inspire you the most about being the president there at Empire?
What inspires me is the opportunity every single day to help lift our deans and our faculty and our staff in service to our access mission. And what I find specifically inspiring are the opportunities I have to meet with our students and our alumni, to hear their stories, and to hear from our faculty and staff about why they chose SUNY Empire. Because at the end of the day, all of us chose SUNY Empire. We all chose to be part of Empire State University because we believe that public higher education can be better and can be in service to all without sacrificing quality. And in fact, by demonstrating and modeling for the world that high quality education can and should be accessible to learners of all ages.
I think you're already writing the script. So of what the model is and can be. So President Vollendorf, we know that you have a lot on your plate. And you're known not only for your leadership and scholarly pursuits, but what else would you like to accomplish in the near future?
I would like to continue to spread the word about Empire State University. It does help that Spider-Man, Mr. Peter Parker, did graduate from Empire State University, and his diploma does appear every once in a while on a Marvel comic film wall. And I would like people to know that we are a real university in service to real people who come from all walks of life. Because for me, this work, this leadership work, this great privilege that I have to be president of this amazing institution really comes to fruition through our impact on our students who come, again, from all zip codes, from nearly all counties currently across the state of New York, who are Black, brown, white, poor, rich, you name it. We serve these students and we serve them all with pride. And I want more people to know about that because I think we definitely embody here what it means to be a high quality public university in service to all students.
So I'm going to be honest with you now, the Spider-Man image is in my head.
Well, that's okay. If we can leverage it in any way, we intend to here.
So I probably won't forget that anytime soon, but I want to thank you for this opportunity to learn from you and with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for engaging with the EdUp Accelerated Excellence community. You can find this episode and others on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Music. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to follow us and share within your network.